Welcome!
All right. Morning. Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome back to our DIY series on how to get your Halloween or Christmas display to the next level. Things I've been talking about are adding video, adding synchronized lights to music, building props, budget as well as larger scale. We went over how to do a radio station. So we've got a whole bunch of different series going on, and one of the ones that we're doing is for a program called Light-O-Rama. Light-O-Rama will allow you to synchronize your music to the lights. So as the music is playing and the beats are going off and everything else, you can set it up so your lights are triggering that way as well. Another thing you can do with your Light-O-Rama box is you can set it up as a trigger. So if the song gets to a certain point and you want to have, say, a spotlight hitting a animatronic of Michael Myers, you can set up one of your channels as a off and on switch, almost like an automated light switch. So the song's going along, do, 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 and then when it hits the big synth, bow, 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 you can have a spotlight or whatever you would like light up that Michael Myers, either animatronic or, like this year, I'm doing the Haunted Mansion walkthrough sequence. And as part of it, I'm going to have an area where I'm going to have some of the posters, which are in the entrance to the Haunted Mansion, that grow. And I also have a hologram that one of the ghosts jumps up behind a tombstone and back down. So I'm not sure if it's going to be the house or if it's going to be the crypt or if it's going to be the church scene that I'm going to make. When it gets to a certain point, I want the lights to turn on and shine onto those posters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my channels. I have 16 channels, and I'm going to set it up where, say, channel 16 triggers the lights for those types of sequences. I'm probably going to do 4 this year that will be trigger setups. And then it will be the other 12 channels will control my dancing lights that are going to be sequenced to the music. The other thing I do is I run a large video screen where I have videos that are all sequenced to the music, which is then sequenced to the lights. But baby steps. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the program you need to get. Now, the company is Light-O-Rama. They make the software. You can get sequences through them. Of course, you have to pay. And then you can get equipment through them to run their software. It's called the Light-O-Rama Control Box. Let me grab that for you real quick. All right, so there's 3 things you need to have to get your computer to be able to control the lights to your music. You need the software, which is what we're going to talk about here. You need to have a network adapter, which we'll do another quick video on probably beginning of next week on how to set that. So basically what that converter does is it takes the signal out of your computer through a USB cable and then converts it into network traffic, which goes over to your Light-O-Rama box, Now, this is an older one. I've had this one for 12 years, I think. I had to have one of the channels fixed. Sent it back. It cost me about $60. That's with shipping back and forth. Light-O-Rama is really, really good to deal with. I've been dealing with them for a long time. So basically what happens is, comes in from your computer, goes up into here, goes into your network port, converts this to a thing called DMX. Not going to really get into that because unless you're a nerd like I am, most people don't care about any of that. What it does is it converts the signal, and then it comes out of, as you can see, it looks like basically extension cord ends. And there's 16 of them on this. So each one of these sets of wires is a channel. That's where you get the 16. So what we're going to do this year at the Wilson Family Lights is the first 12 are going to control my lights flickering and quivering and everything to the music. And then I'm going to use 4 of these channels as a prop or specific light trigger. I have some spotlights that I put on, so that'll be channel 16. And then that'll give me 3 other channels that I can have that'll turn on during certain points in my show to emphasize or to give atmosphere to that song. So this is a Light-O-Rama box. I bought it from a company called Wow Lights. Like I said, I don't remember exactly, but I think I've had it for at least 12 years. I think I was running it for a couple of years in Massachusetts before we moved down here, the sunny state of Florida. So that's what you need. This whole setup, I'm not exactly sure what it's going for right now, but I will put a description with a link where you can actually buy all 3 at once and save yourself some do-re-mi. All right, so this is the website that you would go to would be Light-O-Rama. You're going to do your purchase. I think it's somewhere around $300, maybe $350. And then you will get your software license. And the latest version they have is 6.6.4, as you can see here. This has got all kinds of stuff in it where you can do the pixels, and there's lots of stuff. I don't use that. I'm old school. I only use a 16-channel, one 16-channel box. So as such, I use the older version, which is 3.12. I learned how to use it very well. It does exactly what I want it to do. I'm able to synchronize my music. I can get as many lights as I really want because you can daisy chain off of each one of these. What you can do is you can take a splitter like this, a 3-way, add it to this end, and you can have even more strings. So conceivably, for all 16, you could have 3 things coming out of each. So that gives you a lot more options. I run them in series, it's called. I'll plug in channel 1 and I'll run 20 sets of lights off of it, plugged off of each other. I don't split all the time. I do some of it, but I don't do all of it. We're going to go into that more as well. So with that, I use 3.12, which is the last version of the 3rd edition. Again, it's simple for me to use. I know how to do it. We're going to do a video on exactly how to do all of that. But today's video is to see how you can go about downloading, and we're going to install the software on this computer. So because I use the older version, I don't go in and click on the S6. I need to go to where they have older Showtime sequencing suites. And as you can see, they've done lots of versions. 6 is the last they've done. and they've done a whole pile of, they're almost as bad as Apple with updates. So mine will do 3.12.4 is what my license will cover. It'll actually cover up to 5.6 because I did do a license update probably about 6 years ago because I wanted to have this on multiple computers because it just makes life easier for me. But I stuck with the 3.12.4. So basically, you're going to click on that, and then as you can see, it's going to give you an exe file, which is your install file. So we'll click on that. All right, you're going to get this window protected PC if you're running Windows 11. Anytime that Windows sees a program that they're like, oh my God, we didn't write this, it must be junk, or it's a giant, well-known program like Adobe or Oracle or some of these other ones, you get this warning. Light-O-Rama is a trustworthy company. You're not going to end up with chlamydia in your computer like you were looking at porn or doing online gambling. It's a safe program to download. So you're going to click more, and then we're going to click on Run Anyway. And then at that point, that will start your installation wizard. So we're going to go through. You're going to come to this. Welcome to blah, blah, blah. Yes. Accept the terms. Yes. Username. I'm just going to put BR Wilson, and the organization is the Wilson Family Lights. You don't have to fill this in. It's just something there again. I'm a nerd. It's going to default to your regular C drive or whatever drive you have set up as the primary drive where your operating system is. Again, that's nerd talk. You don't need to know it. Most people don't care, but I'll just put it out there. So you're going to click Next. Installation is going to begin. Yes, we're going to click Install. It's going to ask you about a couple of different things. You're going to say yes to this, which is just allowing it to put different pieces of the program onto your hard drive. It's also going to ask you to install a thing called DirectX. This is a Microsoft program that helps with various programs run correctly that weren't necessarily written specifically for Windows. This is a Microsoft-based program. Again, this is another one that's safe. It is not normally installed when you have an operating system, Windows 10, 11, 7. Unless you're like me, I've got a computer running 98 that I use to do some diagnostic stuff on. But this is completely safe, and you're going to hit yes. So again, you're going to get your complete, and you're now good to go. So we're going to go to our desktop. We're going to go into here, and we're going to put in Light-O-Rama. What we're going to do is, I want you to right-click on this. Don't open it, just right-click on it. And we're going to open up the file location, which is going to bring up your program folder where it's installed onto your desktop. Onto your hard drive, excuse me. What I normally do is I will right-click over in your desktop area and do a new folder. I will then call it, if I could type, LOR Shorts. What all these are different programs that come with the main Light-O-Rama program. What I like to do is I will right-click, copy, go into that folder, Control V, we're going to drop those shortcuts onto your desktop. So we'll go out of that. This is what it would look like. You're now in where you have all the shortcuts for your programs. All of these different things do obviously different things for Light-O-Rama. The ones that you're going to use is going to be your sequence editor, your simple show builder, and then you may end out running your diagnostic. You're definitely going to run your control panel. That's the first thing that I do is I will double click on that, and it's going to run the program, and you're going to get another installation wizard. You're going to hit next. Now, this is where you want to figure out to save your sequences. As you get going, you take your music, you synchronize it to the Light-O-Rama program. It needs a place to store it. It defaults to your C drive, your username, the username, documents, and Light-O-Rama. That's usually where I drop it. I'll show you where you can get to that after. You're going to hit next. The folder doesn't exist, or you want to make it? Yes. Click finish. Light-O-Rama is currently not registered. That's fine. Click no. So we're now going to go into, that is running in your system tray. So you're going to go over to here, down by your clock and what have you, and you're going to see, now you have a new icon. Light-O-Rama is disabled. You're going to right-click on it. And this is set up now where you can go in, and this is where you control how your show works with your Light-O-Rama. We're going to go more into this after. But you need to make sure that you double-click on this and run it so it's running in the background. The other thing you're going to want to do is, again, we've installed it. We've turned it on. Click here. Right-click. Brings up all of your different commands for Light-O-Rama. You're going to go over to here and you're going to check mark that. Go back into here, right click, launch it startup. That way, every time that you shut your computer off or it shuts off because it did a update or whatever, once the computer powers back up, this will start up again. Now this computer, oh friend, sorry about that. I should put this over here so you can hear me. While I was making the video, the screen capture software I use, I did not realize you could not see when I was over here in the control panel and over on your taskbar. So as we were talking about, once you have enabled your control panel in the Light-O-Rama software, you come over here near your clock and hit your up arrow. You're going to see this new icon here, Light-O-Rama disabled. You're going to right click on that. Now you can see all of the different commands I was talking about. You want to make sure that A, it's been enabled, which you've got your icon, so it has. And then you want to check mark next to launch at startup. That way it comes on every time when your computer shuts off and turns back on, whether it's doing updates or you manually do it or whatever. That way it's always running and your show will go off at the times it's supposed to. So I apologize for that. Yeah. Now this computer I'm using here is not my show computer. This is the computer that I do all of my videos and everything for Guitars and Cigars and for Wilson Family Lights. I have a couple of laptops that I run my show on because there again, it just makes my life easier. My wife used to be an engineer for Dell, and I was able to get my meat hooks onto a lot of computers, so it makes my life easier. But you can certainly run this from your home PC if you want to, and it won't cause any real issues with using your computer on a regular basis. It's just something I do because it just, again, makes my life easier. All right, so we've gone into here. We're going to right click. We've got it, launch it, set up. You're going to use compressed sequences because that's the primary. And then you're going to show memory, player memory restart. In the event that you're going to have a problem, it's going to do a log. It's kind of like a crash log, if anybody knows what that is with Windows. It allows you to figure out where your problems are. All right, so we have now installed the Light-O-Rama program. Now, one of the things you're going to want to do is your sequence editor is the next thing you're going to want to go into. So you've made your folder of shortcuts that's on your desktop. Excuse me. Go into that, and we're going to go into this, double click on the sequence editor. After it runs a couple of things, you get this. Don't show me this again. This is an unlicensed demo version, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show you how to register it from within the program. This is what you get. Now, we're going to talk about a musical and a new animation sequence in another video. Basically, it is, you can do, an animation would be no music. It's just going to be like in between when your show stops and starts, or between each sequence, you can do where the lights just kind of shimmer or whatever you would like. Most of the time, you're going to be doing a new musical sequence. And you can keep that unchecked just in case you want to do both. But this is what we're going to do. We're not going to start a media file. We'll just X out of that. This is what the demo version looks like. So basically, we're going to go into help, and we're going to register your program. You're going to get this information from Light-O-Rama when you make your purchase. The name, and then you're going to get a license key. And the license key is what it looks for in the background to make sure, A, you've paid for it, because it's like death and taxes. Unavoidable, you have to pay for it. You can use the demo version for free, but it is extremely limited. And I mean extremely limited. So, as part of the package deal, I'm going to highlight down on the bottom of this, it will it will give you a fully licensed version. So you put in your information, and then you're going to hit register. I'm going to grab that information right now, and I'll black it out because I don't want everybody taking my key because I don't think they'd be too happy with me. All right, so I've got my key and the name that it's under, and you have to specifically use the name that they give you, exactly how they send it to you. It's case sensitive. So we need to have the capital B and the capital W. And then you're going to get your, it looks like a Microsoft Windows key. So you're going to copy and paste and put that in. And you're going to hit register. Thank you for registering Light-O-Rama, the line, blah, 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 Superstar 2CCR. You may now reopen the program. So we're now going to go out of it, go back in, and we're good to go. So we'll cancel it. And now you can see we have the advanced. It no longer says demo. So that means we're good to go. All right, so that's the installation of the actual program itself. You get a hold of Light-O-Rama. You purchase either just the software if you want, or the package that I will highlight in the description of this video. They'll send you your network adapter, they're going to send you your control box, and you'll immediately get your software license so you can start sequencing. You do not have to have any of this hooked up to start sequencing. The next video we're going to do, which will drop next week, will be how to attach the network adapter and get it talking to your Light-O-Rama box. Then at that point, we will start going over how to set up your 16 channels to make sure that you've got your grid here. Because once we get going with this, it's going to look like this. So this is a sample chase sequence that comes with the Light-O-Rama program itself. So what you do is, this is going to be a visual. There's no music to this. This is going to be the second type of sequence that we were talking about in the beginning that you can set up. So as you can see, this looks kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. We're going to set up, instead of having unit 1, 1.2, we're going to set up channels. So it'll be channel 1, 2, 3 through 16. And then your grid, which is each one of these squares, is going to be dictated by the beat of the song that you pick. So there's a little bit to it. Once you've done 1 or 2, it's really easy. So right now you're thinking to yourself, what are you talking about? You'll get to the point where even my twins could do it, and let's just say they're not exactly the savviest people on the planet. So that's, like I said, that's the installation of the Light-O-Rama program. That's getting your program registered. And then we will move forward with getting you set up with your network adapter, talking to your Light-O-Rama box, which I showed you earlier. And then we're going to get into setting up your program itself for your display and for your 16 channels. So, all right, Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. We appreciate you checking us out. If you like this content, you think it's helpful, you think you want to bring your, Halloween or Christmas display to that next level this year, and this DIY series we're doing is going to help you do that, fantastic. All I'm asking you to do is to like and comment on the videos that you watch. If you really like it and you really think you're getting something out of it, if you could subscribe to our various socials. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are on X, Wilson Family Lights. That would be absolutely fabulous, as it will help us grow, and we can continue to help you people and put out some decent content that hopefully people can use in the end. So, all right, Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights. We appreciate you checking us out. Have a fabulous day. All right, so one thing I forgot to mention is that we are doing a giveaway for the Light-O-Rama program. It specifically will work up to, I think, the 5.0 or whatever the latest version of 5.0 would be for the software. We're giving away 10 fully functional sequences for Light-O-Rama. There's 16 channel. They're synchronized to video, which, if you're not going to run video, you can set it up so it just uses the audio portion of the video, and it's all synchronized for your display. Would allow you to have 16 channels of synchronized lighting to go with your music. Now, if you need help setting that up, either what lights and what props you should have to either of your channels, or how you go about setting that up, just give me a PM and I can go through it with you. I can even get on Zoom, or we can get onto Teams and I can walk you through the process. So the only thing I ask is that if you would like to get those 10 sequences, you just subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the link will be in the description of this video. So, all right, thanks, Brian here from the Wilson Family Lights.